All right. It is Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. It always seems impossible until it gets done. So we need to finish the goals, Hero Cup, and then we're going to do CER action reaction on page number 23. Okay, cool. Now, what I want the people to do, we're just going to talk about this for just a minute. There is an elephant in the room, and I'm just going to be straightforward. For some of the classes, there's just been people who've been disrespectful. Like, and not mostly to me, mostly to other students. So I'm like, yo, we got to be respectful to one another. We got to treat each other well. And if you're like, hey, I cannot control my mouth to fix up, to say something respectful to someone, then just keep your mouth closed. And if you have a legit issue, come talk to me. I will help you fix it. Okay, like legit, like I will help you. So just get into there. We got to get into those places where we can be able to say respectful things. So I'll put some of those things. We're going to get some practice in there, how to be respectful to one another. Some classes are getting a new seating chart. Some people getting a contact home to be like, hey, I had to move. There's all kinds of little things in there. We're going to make some adjustments. But I'm just like, we got to be respectful to one another. That's like the bottom line. Okay, we got to treat people well in here. Okay. All right, cool. I just wanted to talk to that for a second. Now, I did want to say who started this? Who started the actual 8th grade water slide trip? Please make sure that you started that. If you haven't, but get started today. It always probably seems impossible, or seems like it's going to be a lot until it's done. So we'll handle the business. We got 3 weeks. Again, we got 3 weeks to handle the business. Okay, cool. Let's move it along. Now, Mr. Farr is not going to spend a lot of time here. We talked about this yesterday. We went over the first trimester goals. And then now all it is it's time for you to actually submit them. So all you have to do is scan them as a PDF, and then go ahead and turn them in. Again, scan them as a PDF, and then you can turn those jokers in. So just submit. We're not going to spend any time here because we're only going to spend 3 minutes on it in class. All right, y'all. So scan those and get those put in. All right, now since we're online, we're not going to do this. But however, in class, we're going to stack up some cups, and we're going to use this rubber band and strings to do it, and it really is going to take some teamwork. So we have to handle some business, work as a team, and then we'll just talk about some of the things that it takes in order to do that. And one of the biggest things is good communication, some respect for one another, being kind to one another, giving each other like maybe some compliments, and then also what could be done to improve, or what could you do to improve, right? So it's also looking at some self-reflection to be like, okay, what areas can I do to get better? Because we've got to do some work in the general in class to be a little bit more respectful, a little bit more kind, use better words, communicate well, right? Okay, cool. Now, let's get on to this. Mr. Farr is going to pause. Okay, so let's get on to page number 23, and we're going to get moving on the rough draft. I'm going to help you guys out with the question, the claim. You guys got to do the rest. So, Mr. Farr, let's go ahead and get our highlighter, and let's get to reading. We're going to highlight anything that seems like it's probably going to be important. Let me see how dark this one is, because I don't really like dark highlighters. So, it needs to be thick, too. So, here we go, bam. There we go. Okay. So even though there are two interacting objects, right? So there's two interacting objects that exert equal and opposite force. Hold on. We're done with that announcement. So two interacting objects exert equal and opposite forces on each other. So equal and opposite forces. Okay, cool. So exert equal and opposite forces. Let me get my pen a little bit. Boop. Let's go to 3. Equal and opposite forces on each other. Okay. When they collide, so that's something, the movement of each object can be different. So the movement of each object can be different if the objects have a different mass. Okay. So now, see if you guys can come up with the question. Again, pause the video and see if you can come up with a question. And so we're going to try and work on that together. See if we can come up with a question. Okay. Again, pause the video and see if you can come up with a question, okay? I'm not going to front on you. This one, to me, is a harder one to tease out the question. But it can be done. So let's just go ahead and do that together. So it says, if two interacting objects, so two objects basically collide. So if two things collide, right? Let's just say this and this paperclip. If they collide, will their movements be different? So let's just try that again and say two objects, they will exert the same amount of force, equal and opposite reaction force. Is their movement different, right? And as we can see, it looks like their movement is, but let's just see if we can tease out the question, right? So, and I'm going to put that right up here. If, or maybe we should say when. When. How about, let's go with when. Erase that. Oops! Give me that back. I just want to erase. We're just going to get rid of if. So we're going to say when two objects collide. So that kind of enforces these two things, interacting equal opposites, and they collide. When two objects collide, and again, it's got to be a question, will their, and that's THEIR because it belongs to them, will their movement, okay, will their movement be different? You can say different or the same. Flip side of the same question. So, if when two objects collide, will their movements, and maybe I should put S because it could be either movements, be different? So that is the question. So either yes, their movements will be different, or no, their movements will be the same. So just remember the lab that we did. So let's just take a step back. Remember the lab that we did. And remember how we had the hand slap the table, right? So the hand is moving and then it stops. The table is what? Just stopped. So were their movements different, right, when they collided, right? So the hand went from moving to not moving, and the table went from not moving to not moving. Okay, cool. So just like the ping pong ball dropped, right, boom, and bounced, right? Okay, cool. So was its movement different than the object it collided with? Remember when we threw the ball, Newton's, right, and you caught it, was the movement different? So again, just take a look through the lab, pages 16 through 22, and make your claim, and then see if you can pick out pieces of evidence. That's all you got to do today. And then if you want to start writing the paragraph, you can do that. We have been practicing that over the last week or so. So you guys are probably getting in your brain like, okay, this is how we're going to do it. So again, just go ahead and see if you can do that. All right, y'all. Peace.